My dear one, child of illumination, the one spoken of by heaven when stars twinkle in the darkness, pay close attention, for this is no common matter. Just 2 minutes remain. The celestial hourglass has recently turned over. Archangel Michael stands wielding his sword of truth, calling your name aloud. And the Almighty is appealing to you. Do not bypass this. Avoid the error of overlooking it. For my dear child, an untrue narrative concerning you has been penned by someone. They have spread rumors of an offense using your name, not due to your culpability, but out of envy for your favor, and their statements, their fabrications are intended to bring about your ruin. However, hear this. If you neglect this, their scheme will come to fruition. If you disregard it, you will suffer the penalty for an offense you did not perpetrate. Do you grasp the gravity of this situation? Archangel Michael implores you, and God himself beseeches. This communication is not present by chance. It represents a sacred intervention. My dear one, your fate is too radiant, too. Which is why they sought to conceal it beneath untrue charges. They imagined they could shackle you, yet heaven has already sundered those bonds. Prior to disclosing their identity, I need to convey this to you. Your spirit had already sensed that something was amiss. That abrupt weight, that murmur in your slumber, that tightness in your bosom. It was the Almighty providing you with an early warning. Yet He selected this specific time, this communication to unveil what has been kept secret. For you were never destined to endure hardship for their transgression. You were never intended to don the garment of disgrace they fashioned for you. My dear child, halt here. Take a breath, because with the forthcoming words, your reality will quake. Archangel Michael declares, I shall proclaim the truth with such volume that even the malevolent spirits who orchestrated this will drop to their knees. Child of illumination, if you feel this truth resonate, declare it now. Type Amen in the comments to align your spirit with this powerful declaration, claiming your space in this divine intervention. And now I pose a crucial question to you. Remain present with me. Do not omit even one sentence, for it is here that the bonds of deceit will shatter. And before I proceed, heed my words distinctly. This communication was brought to your attention for a specific purpose. Do not allow it to escape. Do not quiet the voice of heaven. And dear one, if this message resonates with your spirit, ensure you subscribe immediately, as every communication shared here is more than mere text. It serves as your defense, your caution, your unfolding wonder. Do not stray unprotected by heaven. Maintain this connection, for the subsequent message could very well be the one that preserves your whole future. Remember, subscribing will activate God's prophetic promise and alignment in your life. Please know that every seed you plant in this mission will grow into a torch that shines in someone else's darkness. Giving to this work through the link in the description or the pinned comment, whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our exclusive community, does not go to a channel. Your actions are supporting a divine mission to save lost souls. Heaven moves through willing voices, but it grows through hearts that are kind. This is what I say over you now. Each gift you give is like a stream of living water that flows into the life of someone who needs healing. Give and it will be given to you is not just a verse for Jesus. It is a living promise that shapes your future. Allow me to invite you now with a simple act of faith. Come into this moment with purpose, with honesty, and with hope. The money you give today is not a donation. The act of spiritual obedience that lets your heavens open is what opens them. Let go of your seed and see what God brings back into your life. Now pay attention. The individual who leveled charges against you was near. They offered you smiles. They feigned concern. However, envy consumed them internally, and their desire was to witness your downfall. Archangel Michael states, "Have no fear. Their falsehoods will not prevail. Their identity will be exposed, and righteousness will not merely exonerate you. It will elevate you beyond your previous standing." God declares, "If you remain aligned with me, I will transform their snare into their ruin." But should you skip, you jeopardize stepping directly into the chasm they excavated. This is your crucial juncture, my dear child. Do you perceive the pressing nature of this? Heaven urgently demands your focus. Do not scroll past. Do not hush this. For in 2 minutes the access points will shut, and once they are sealed, the opportunity to learn their identity, to safeguard yourself, to prevent the unjust penalty, will disappear. Archangel Michael stands at this very instant, his sword raised, awaiting your decision. Will you disregard this, or will you embrace the truth? My dear child, the instant your gaze met these sentences, heaven drew nearer. You might not yet comprehend it, but the boundary separating the spiritual and terrestrial realms is currently more permeable than at any other point in your existence. The Almighty's hand extends over you, quivering with immediate need. Archangel Michael's blade is already elevated, gleaming with celestial flame. And yet, dark forces continue to stir against you. These are dark entities who presume to fabricate an untrue tale using your identity. This isn't mere rumor, nor a minor injury. No, my dear child, they have concocted an offense, a bogus misdeed, and affixed your name to it. Their aim is merciless: to subjugate you, to divest you of your honor, and to observe you being forcibly taken to a place where you ought not be. Imprisonment, this is what their jealousy has conjured into reality. Imprisonment shackles retribution for actions you never performed. And still heaven declines to permit this fate to materialize, provided you remain engaged with this communication to its conclusion. Do not consider this a mere chance occurrence. The precise moment you stopped here, the celestial spheres themselves arranged for this confrontation. The Almighty stated, "Bring it to light." Do not permit my child to bear the burden of an undeserved reputation. And Archangel Michael, who has awaited like a shackled lion, now advances and proclaims, "Dear one, just 2 minutes are left. Should you avert your gaze, the deception will continue unhindered. If you persist, if you decline to bypass this, the bonds will break." The individual who brought charges against you has long celebrated your triumphs only to secretly invoke ill will upon you. They donned camaraderie as a facade. They adopted affection as a pretense. Yet within their core they honed blades against you. And today heaven is unmasking them. Their identity is imminent to being disclosed. But initially your conviction must keep you grounded here, for truth cannot be partially perceived. It must be wholly unveiled, wholly accepted. Do you sense that quivering within your bosom at this moment? That distinct tremor that persists? That is your spirit discerning the peril that was arrayed against you. You already had an inkling in a quiet recess of your essence that someone was conspiring. You had already perceived the change in the atmosphere, the oppressive weight, the peculiar looks, the unexplainable strain. These were not mere chance happenings. They served as heaven's preliminary alerts. But this communication, this is more than a faint murmur. It is a resounding crack of thunder from the heavens. God Himself declares, "My child, I implore you, do not bypass this or you will be the one to bear the cost. Archangel Michael appends. Do not consider this an overstatement. I have been present at the portals of justice and I witnessed their scheme developing. But if you stay, if you heed, if you cling firmly, their plot will crumble. And rather than you being drawn into unjust retribution, it will be they who confront the unveiling of their concealed actions. Imagine for a single instant if you disregarded this. Envision stepping into a snare with your eyes covered, oblivious that another had determined your destiny. Yet now conceive of this. The blindfold dropping, your vision clearing, the deceiver's identity brought to light before you. The divine tribunal shifting to advocate for you, not against you. That is what hangs in the balance currently, dear one. But before I disclose further details, permit me to inquire about something highly significant. If these sentences are already penetrating your core, if you sense the divine spirit flowing through them, do not permit this to be a singular meeting. Remain linked. Subscribe at once. For every communication that reaches you here is not merely writing. It represents a line cast from heaven itself, preventing you from being submerged in what others desire for your detriment. You cannot afford to overlook the subsequent alert, the upcoming defense, the next significant advance that is already heading your way. Dear one, do not wander off unprotected. Secure yourself within the current of these sacred communications. Now allow me to proceed. The individual who has falsely implicated you is also quaking. Though they would never reveal it, they assumed their deception would remain concealed. They imagined the documents would be ratified and the rumors would solidify into realities. They presumed no one would ever ascertain the truth. But what remained unknown to them is that the Almighty inscribes in flame where humans mark in ink. He perceived every murmur. He tallied every untrue statement. He documented every action they undertook against you. And now he has resolved that their disguise shall drop. Archangel Michael states, have no apprehension, dear one. Their identity is inscribed before me. And if you remain until the conclusion, you will witness what they believed could never be brought to light. God's tone falters as he utters, I do not wish for my child to bear the weight of another's jealousy. I do not desire my cherished one to be penalized for an offense they never perpetrated. Remain vigilant. Stay attentive and observe my actions. Even at this moment, as you absorb these words, the fundamental structure of their scheme is coming apart. What they purposed for ill, heaven is interweaving into your safeguard. The falsehood is delicate, and your conviction serves as the tool that smashes it to pieces. The instant you linger here, the instant you do not bypass this is the moment heaven reinforces your defense. Therefore, pay attention, for in the ensuing sentences, their true self will not stay concealed. The shackles intended for you will be recognized for what they truly represent, snares of jealousy and animosity. And rather than your reputation being sullied, it will radiate more brilliantly than previously. This communication is more than a mere caution. It is an act of liberation. Each share this prophetic word with your network for sharing will activate the anointing and share the breakthrough with them. The sheer deed of your compliance of remaining here, of fully engaging with this, is prompting heaven's intervention to act in your defense. Dear one, this marks merely the commencement. My cherished child, heaven continues to communicate. When you access this, a change occurred within the spiritual realm. That which had been concealed in quietude for months, even years, commenced to unravel. You might not yet perceive it with your physical sight. But in the realm beyond perception, Archangel Michael has already interceded between you and the retribution concocted through deceit. God proclaims forcefully, "No more. My child shall not bear this malediction. My child shall not enter into bonds that do not rightfully belong to them." This is the reason your chest feels weighed down. Why your heart beats rapidly, for the struggle is not trivial. The individual who brought charges against you believed they were shrewd. Believed no one would discover. Believed their statements would adhere to your reputation like me. But heaven does not permit falsehoods to persist indefinitely. Truth is a fire, and today it blazes more intensely than the gloom. The one bringing the accusation is near, so near that you might find it difficult to accept. They dined close to you. They grinned when you were present. They feigned applause for your advancements. Yet secretly they affixed their name to a document steeped in venom. God states, "I observed everything. I documented every utterance. I will not permit you to endure the destiny they devised." The fabricated accusation they have cast upon your reputation is not merely a narrative. It was engineered to divest you of your future, to pilot your liberty, to portray you as culpable when your conduct is blameless. But do you recall what is inscribed? "No instrument fashioned against you shall succeed." This weapon was indeed created, yet it will not triumph. Nevertheless, my dear child, you must stay. For if you bypass this communication, you withdraw from the precise defense that God is currently extending over you. Archangel Michael urges, "Remain. Do not scroll past. Do not quiet this utterance. For the one who indicted you believes their scheme is already secured, but heaven possesses the might to reverse it if you stand firm." Do you comprehend? The equilibrium is delicate. Your compliance in remaining is your steadfast support. Allow me to impart something you must always recall. There exist junctures in existence where a single selection, a solitary determination, a lone act of compliance dictates the trajectory of all that ensues. This represents one such juncture. You were not led here by happenstance. You were directed. Your angelic guardians have been murmuring, gently drawing, guiding because they understood this disclosure needed to reach you. You possess mere minutes before the spiritual opening concludes. And if you do not fully engage with this, the caution will dissipate. That is why the imperative in your soul is so potent. And heed this. For God does not merely caution. He liberates. He reinstates. He augments. What was intended for your ruin, He will employ for your exaltation. What they murmured in obscure places, God will declare openly. The precise falsehood they attempted to enter you beneath will transform into the ascent that elevates you further. Liking this video will activate the flow of God's favor in your life. Thus say Archangel Michael states, "Dear one, have no apprehension. The truth is not feeble. The truth is a blade, and today I wield it in your protection. But before I delve further, listen to me. These words you are now receiving are not solely for today. Tomorrow a different scheme will emerge. Next week another snare. Next month a further deception. That is why you cannot proceed unguarded. Remain protected. Subscribe, dear one. Subscribe, for every communication that emanates here is not accidental. It is deliverance. It is guidance. It is a chart. When the pathway is obscured by mist, those who bypass it collide with obstacles. Those who remain linked pass through openings. Do not sever yourself from the current of heaven. Now let us revert to the individual who charged you. God declares their identity will not stay concealed much longer. Already fissures are appearing around their design. Individuals are starting to notice discrepancies in their account. Even those who participated in the murmuring are now questioning because veracity carries substance and falsehoods cannot sustain it perpetually. Soon the very individual who desired your confinement will be revealed for their genuine self. You will not be required to contend with your own efforts. Heaven will combat on your behalf. And when the revelation occurs, you will emerge with your honor untouched, your reputation radiating more brilliantly than previously. This, my dear child, is what the adversary dreads most. That you will not succumb. That instead of witnessing you in bondage, they will observe your ascent. That their envy which propelled this fabricated charge will rebound and kindle your favor. And that is why the imperative is so intense. God does not wish for you to be taken unawares. Archangel Michael does not desire for you to proceed blindfolded into peril. They are loudly calling. Remain vigilant. Stay watchful. Do not bypass this. The truth is present and it will rescue you. Dear one, this represents merely a portion of what needs to be disclosed. The parchment is extensive, the statements are profound, and the admonitions are numerous. But if you persist with me sentence by sentence, section by section, you will not only ascertain their identity, you will also comprehend why heaven has selected you, why the foe holds such trepidation toward you, and why your fate cannot be seized regardless of the multitude of falsehoods inscribed against you. My dear one, do you grasp the preciousness of your identity in the celestial realm? Upon your birth, angels bore your name to the divine throne, and he inscribed it in his registry with fire. That is the reason the adversary has consistently harbored animosity toward you. That is why individuals you confided in occasionally grew distant. That is why jealousy appeared to pursue you. Whenever divine favor graced your existence because your identity holds significance. It encompasses pledge fate illumination. And as the world descends into greater darkness, that radiance intensifies, increasingly attracting the notice of envious souls. This is the reason an individual near to you chose to distort your reputation with fabrications. Not because you are culpable, but because your purity brought them disgrace. Not because you acted wrongly, but because your upright conduct condemned them. God declares, have no apprehension, my dear child. I will not permit your identity to be constrained, and Archangel Michael resounds. I shall cleave the heavens if it becomes necessary. But this fabricated offense will not enter you. Even at this moment, dear one, you traverse a perilous precipice of fate. You might not perceive it, but the documentation has been discreetly spread. The narrative has been devised and the scheme approaches its finalization. Yet heaven has unveiled it before the snare could shut. That is why your spirit is agitated. That is why your bosom feels constricted, your intellect disked, your evenings disturbed. You perceived it. You understood something was amiss. And now the corroboration has arrived. Consider this. If you bypass, if you depart, you are forsaking the very key that releases your liberty. God has presented this communication before you because he recognizes the potency of disclosure. To perceive a falsehood is to dismantle its authority. To heed heaven's admonition is to nullify the adversary's snare. This is your juncture. Your opportunity to move into security before their deception becomes your condemnation. But if you disregard, the dark forces will exalt. They will declare, "We deceived them. We obscured their vision. We caused them to scroll past," and then the adversary's untrue narrative will gain traction. Dear one, do not permit that to occur. Archangel Michael urges, remain. Do not depart. I have awaited this moment to disclose the truth. The identity of the one who charged you is now imminent to your hearing. It is near. The very lips that greeted you with smiles uttered words against you. The identical hands that feigned assistance were endorsing your ruin. Yet those hands will be revealed. Their grin will fade. Their fabrication will fracture. And when that transpires, your reputation will ascend even further. For this is the hidden wisdoms. God consistently transforms assaults into attestations. The very chasm Joseph's siblings cast him into evolved into the route to his kingship. The identical cross to which they affixed Jesus became the portal of revival. The same fabricated offense inscribed against you will serve as the foundation for your clears throat, divine favor. This isn't just a promise. It's a prophecy for your life. If you are ready for every trap meant for your downfall to become a stepping stone for your divine favor, type "My favor is rising" in the comments. Now, let heaven hear your declaration. As this awakening grows inside you, know that helping with this mission is not a joke. It is a sign from God. You can support this work through the link in the description or the pinned comment. Whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our exclusive community. By doing so, you become part of Jesus' plan to save souls who are still stuck in fog. Every seed turns into light that fights against darkness. If you water others, you will be watered yourself. Jesus says, this is not history. It is a living promise about your future. Come into this moment with faith and a plan. What God has already planned for your life can be unlocked through your giving. But pay close heed, my dear child. Divine favor attends those who remain vigilant. Do not fall into complacency in this period. Do not bypass the utterances that heaven is imparting. Every line here constitutes a defense materializing around you. Every section is a blade being honed. The more you linger, the more robust your protection grows. And listen to me. This communication is not solely for the present. Further admonitions will arise. Additional disclosures, more veracities. That is why you cannot proceed unaccompanied. Subscribe, dear one. Remain sheltered beneath this vision. Do not roam in a realm where the adversary schemes constantly, where deceptions are woven like intricate nets. Keep yourself within the current of heaven's pronouncements, for tomorrow could present another stratagem and you will require the subsequent message to safeguard your actions. Now, dear one, let us delve further. The one who charged you is not merely an adversary. They are an individual who once stood intimately near their purry wounds because you never conceived their mouth could utter such falsehoods. But heaven declares, I witnessed it before its occurrence. I overheard their murmurs as they articulated them. I will not permit them to complete what I began. That is why you are engaging with this currently. For the opportunity is diminishing. The moment is advanced and the deception is disseminating. Yet heaven has pronounced, no, it concludes at this point. My dear one, you must grasp a matter of such profound importance. The conflict waged against you is not due to your feebleness. It is because you are divinely selected. If you were commonplace, if your existence held no import, if your spirit bore no radiance, the adversary would not expend his armaments upon you. But because you are singled out, because you are blessed, because a regal emblem awaits you, the gloom cannot stay unspoken. The very impetus for your being targeted is evidence that you harbor inner riches. The fabricated charge inscribed against your reputation was never truly about you. It concerned what you possess. It aimed at quieting your speech, impeding your advancement, incapacitating your soul. But heaven asserts it will not succeed. What I have consecrated cannot be hushed. What I have favored cannot be condemned. Child, I comprehend the anguish in your core. Disloyalty weighs more heavily than bonds. It inflicts deeper injury than any edged weapon. You confided, you offered, you cherished, and still they uttered calumnies against you. You regarded them with benevolent gazes, and they reciprocated with paridity. That is why the pain is so profound. For if a foreigner had accused you, you could have dismissed it. But this individual was no unknown. They were sufficiently near to be acquainted with your identity, close enough to be familiar with your narrative, near enough to wound your spirit, and yet attend to this. They are not more intimate than the Almighty. They are not closer than Archangel Michael. They are not nearer than the angelic beings who accompany you. They might have attempted to affect your existence, but heaven embraces your spirit in hands they cannot access. Even now, heaven is ripping the mask from their countenance. Their falsehoods are already quaking. Do you not sense it? That abrupt awareness that something obscured is emerging. That is heaven drawing aside the drapery. God states, I will not permit my child to proceed ignorantly into the deceptions of deceivers. You are being granted foresight before the tempest descends. This is not a communication of dread. It is a message of readiness, a message of triumph. Because the words of the one bringing charges cannot endure in illumination. When veracity appears, falsehoods perish. But child, you must persist in the radiance. That is why you are present. That is why you cannot bypass this. That is why this communication radiates with immediacy. If you depart too early, you proceed into gloom unknowingly. But if you linger sentence by sentence, you are protected. You are equipped. You are defended. Each instant you stay here is an instant the deception diminishes in power. Archangel Michael declares, do not undervalue this juncture. What is being inscribed in heaven surpasses what was penned by human hands. Remain beneath the defense. The blade is prepared. The deceiver's opportunity is brief, and I must reiterate this. You cannot afford to wander without companionship. Remain linked. Subscribe, dear one. Each communication that issues forth here is a celestial cable drawing you from depths intended to submerge you. Do not sever the tether. Do not stifle the current. Tomorrow another falsehood could emerge. Next week a different snare. But if you are protected, if you are linked, you will not be taken by surprise. Remember, the one who accompanies heaven never proceeds ignorantly. And child, recall this. What you currently confront is not the final skirmish. There will be further challenges. Envy does not slumber. Jealousy does not readily subside. That is why you must stay protected. Do not wander adrift once this communication concludes. Subscribe, dear one. Secure yourself here because today it involves a fabricated offense. Tomorrow it might be a deceit in affection. Next month it could be a snare concerning finances. But if you persist beneath the safeguard of these utterances, every trap will be neutralized before it impacts you. This transcends the present moment. It pertains to your complete fate. Now, let us delve even further. The identity of the one who charged you weighs heavily upon heaven's utterance. Archangel Michael possesses it. And when the opportune moment arrives, it will be proclaimed. But comprehend this. When their name is disclosed, your reality will tremble. For you did not anticipate it. You did not conceive they were capable of such an act against you. That is why it will cause anguish, but it will also provide solace. For veracity brings healing even amidst pain. And once it is brought to light, the suffering will subside and liberation will endure. You will reflect upon this day not as the juncture of your ruin but as the occasion of your salvation. My dear one, there is a crucial insight you must grasp regarding this moment. What is occurring to you is not unprecedented. It has befallen every divinely selected individual across history. Joseph faced fabricated charges from Potiphar's spouse and was incarcerated for an offense he did not commit. Daniel was falsely indicted by envious functionaries and cast into the lion's lair. Jesus himself was unjustly accused by religious leaders who resented his authority, and he was crucified despite his blamelessness. Do you observe the recurring theme, my child? Fabricated charges consistently pursue the chosen. Falsehoods perpetually chase the consecrated. Herod invariably aims to strike those who bear heaven's grace. And yet in every instance the bogus accusation did not enter them. It transformed into the very foundation for their ascent. Joseph departed confinement to enter Pharaoh's royal residence. Daniel emerged from the den unharmed and his detractors were consumed instead. Jesus ascended from the sepulchre and his resurgence forever impacted the globe. This is why you must not succumb to alarm. Indeed, the deception is perilous. Yes, the crime inscribed against your reputation is grave. But you are not the inaugural recipient of such charges, nor will you be the first to be rescued. Heaven has already scripted your conclusion, and it signifies not bondage, but liberation. It denotes not dishonor but esteem. It represents not vanquishment but attestation. Thus, if this prophetic word has resonated with you, share it now with your network. Sharing will activate the anointing and share that breakthrough with them. Sighs, but you must persist within this disclosure. You must not scroll past. You must not mute the voice advocating for your preservation, for the opportunity is limited, and if you disregard it, you risk proceeding ignorantly into the snare that has already been arranged. Archangel Michael speaks with pressing concern. Dear one, the deceiver assumed their discreet murmur would never reach your hearing. They believed their plot would stay concealed until it was beyond remedy. But here I stand, blade in hand, drawing back the veil. Do not squander this juncture. Do not bypass this communication, or the individual who charged you will prevail in diminishing you. These are not trivial statements. They are the proclamations of heaven. They represent your ultimate support. Do you perceive that agitation within your spirit? That unk of fire as you read that is God Himself breathing affirmation into your soul. You had already harbored suspicions about someone. You had already sensed a weight around them, though you couldn't articulate it. You had already observed indicators. The manner in which their gaze shifted, the way their statements contorted, the hollowness their smiles conveyed, and now heaven is corroborating what your heart already recognized. They are the perpetrator. They are the one bringing the charges. They are the disloyal one, and their identity will not stay obscured for much longer. Child, I must impart another detail to you. This assault was not arbitrary. It was meticulously scheduled. They delayed until they perceived your vulnerability. They waited until your attention was diverted, until you were engrossed elsewhere, until your vigilance was lowered. They selected this juncture because they believed it would inflict the most severe impact. But God declares, I observed their timing. I will reverse it. What they considered the ideal moment to ruin you will transform into the perfect instance to manifest my might in your existence. You must safeguard this truth. The more profound the falsehood, the more brilliant the illumination of exoneration. When veracity emerges, it will not merely clear your reputation, it will reveal theirs. And when it does, those who questioned you will revere you. Those who spread rumors against you will become quiet. Those who sought to enter, you will observe you standing more loftily than ever. That represents the fairness of heaven. That is the pledge affirmed over your existence. But dear one, remain near. This communication is not concluded. Do not depart before the stronghold is fully constructed. Every utterance you absorb erects a barrier around you. Every sentence you linger over reinforces your defense. If you bypass it, the barrier remains incomplete and the projectiles of deceptions can penetrate. But if you persist until the conclusion, the stronghold will be invulnerable. Archangel Michael urges, remain, dear one. Only then will you witness the deceiver's collapse. My dear one, the adversary assumed their hushed murmur would pass unperceived. They believed the obscurity they draped around your reputation would stay concealed. But illumination cannot be hidden. Do you discern God's methodology? He does not permit gloom to govern perpetually. A falsehood can endure for a period, but it cannot exist for eternity. And in your existence, the era of deceptions is concluding. The fabricated charge inscribed against you is quaking. Even as you peruse this, the deceiver senses it, though they do not grasp the reason. Their evenings are troubled. Their spirit is unsettled. Their assurance is fracturing because veracity is pushing at the boundaries of their facade. Do not dread what they uttered about you. Dread only what you would forfeit if you turned away from this disclosure. Archangel Michael is entreating because he observes the documents. He perceives the endorsements. He sees the snare they prepared, poised to activate. But he also beholds the divine fire hovering above you, poised to incinerate the trapped to dust. If you persist here, if you remain, if you allow heaven to complete its initiation, child, this is what renders your narrative potent. You are not characterized by their pronouncements. You are characterized by your identity in the Almighty's estimation. They might label you a transgressor, but God designates you as chosen. Clear's throat, they might term you culpable, but God deems you righteous. They might call you frail, but God calls you cherished. Do not permit their statements to tarnish you. Allow God's declarations to purify you. That is the distinction between subjugation and liberation. And you are destined for liberation. But I must convey something challenging to you. When veracity appears, you will be astonished because the one bringing charges is not remote. They are not an unknown person. They are not far removed. They are an individual intimately near, someone you confided in, someone you permitted into your personal sphere. That is why the perfidy inflicts such profound injury. That is why it feels like an unseen blade. But do not allow the astonishment to shatter you. Let it liberate you. For once the truth is unveiled, you will recognize that their grin was a disguise. Their benevolence was a display. Their camaraderie was a charade. And when you perceive it distinctly, you will find solace. God declares, "My child, I implore you, do not bypass this. Do not turn aside, because if you depart before the disclosure is finished, you will proceed ignorantly into their trap." Archangel Michael states, veracity is at the periphery of your sight. Do not shut your eyes. Now, dear one, this is why you must persist. The narrative is not concluded and the outcome is triumph, but only if you remain aligned with heaven until the final. Reflect on Joseph once more. When he was charged, he could have succumbed to despair. He could have relinquished hope, uttering, "What is the purpose? My existence is shattered." But he persevered. And because he persevered, the incarceration transformed into the passage to the royal residence. Do you comprehend? What was intended for his ruin became the precise element that elevated him. That is what will transpire for you. The fabricated accusation will not enter you. It will elevate you. The falsehood will not debilitate you. It will render your attestation unyielding, and those who derided you will witness the divine splendor upon your life. If you believe God is turning every attack into a testimony and every fabricated charge into your elevation, seal this truth in your spirit. Type M in the comments and watch heaven move on your behalf. You are about to enter your divine future. Remember that this message does not end with you. People can use your breakthrough to get where they need to go through the link in the description or the pinned comment. Whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our exclusive community, you can help this mission. By doing so, you are sowing into the awakening, deliverance, and restoration of souls who are still trapped in darkness. This is not poetry. When Jesus says, "Give, and heaven will open over you," every seed you plant turns into oil for your destiny, fire for your calling, and safety for your family. Now is your time, my child. Have faith. And as you do, watch God multiply what you let go of, but you must not capitulate prematurely. You must not mute this utterance. Persist, remain. Allow heaven to bring to fruition what it commenced. My dear one, do not be intimidated by the obscurity that attempted to envelop you. The gloom is noisy, but it is not perpetual. Do you not recall what is inscribed? Veracity shall liberate you. Falsehoods are enclosures, but truth is the instrument that shatters them. And today that key has been positioned in your grasp. God is stating, do not permit dread to stifle you. Do not let apprehension consume you. Stand still and observe my deliverance. Archangel Michael is appending. Dear one, I am maintaining watch. No deception shall confine you if you persist here. But if you depart, if you bypass, you proceed into peril unprotected. The individual who brought charges against you undervalued the might of heaven. They believed their narrative would disseminate more rapidly than veracity. They imagined their fabricated accusation would cling more tenaciously than God's favor, but they were mistaken. Falsehoods might possess swiftness, but truth holds resilience. Deceptions might mislead the masses, but truth addresses the spirit. And when the spirit hears veracity, no falsehood can endure. This is why you sense such potency even now as you peruse, because your soul discerns the voice of truth and it is dislodging the bonds they attempted to impose upon you. Child, you might be inquiring, why me? Why am I perpetually the objective? Why do falsehoods pursue me? Why do acts of disloyalty follow me? And heaven responds, because you are selected, because you are consecrated. Because you carry an illumination that obscurity dreads. Do not misinterpret an assault for desertion. If you were forsaken, no one would bother to combat you. It is because you are chosen that the projectiles arrive. But it is also because you are chosen that the projectiles will fracture. Archangel Michael is exclaiming, remain. Do not bypass this. Persist until the conclusion, for the deceiver's identity is inscribed before me, and soon it will be unveiled. You are nearer than you comprehend. The barrier is becoming transparent. The disguise is slipping. The individual who betrayed you is already quivering. They sense the warmth of exposure, though they do not confess it. And when the juncture arrives, their identity will descend like a stone. And your reputation will ascend like the sun. But before that transpires, you must remain within this safeguard. This communication is more than mere words. It is a defense. Every line you persist beneath constructs a barrier between you and the deception. Every instant you heed repels the obscure forces. Do not depart before the stronghold is finalized. My dear one, the terrestrial realm might inscribe charges on paper, but heaven etches veracity onto stone. Paper incinerates, stone induces. Their endorsement is transitory. God's pact is everlasting. And this divine agreement over your existence cannot be annulled. It is inscribed in the essence of sacrifice, sealed by the fervor of spirit, guarded by the blade of Archangel Michael. That is why, even though their deception feels formidable, it is feeble compared to the eternal decree penned in heaven concerning you. The deceiver is currently assured, but their confidence is founded on shifting ground. Do you recollect what occurs to dwellings constructed on sand? The tempest arrives and they crumble. That storm is already gathering. They do not yet perceive it, but their time is constrained. For the one who impacted God's anointed, the one who sullied his child's reputation, the one who sought to stain innocence, there is no evasion from judgment. Heaven is deliberate in its wrath, but once it acts, nothing can impede it. Child. This is why Archangel Michael states only 2 minutes remain, because justice is not far off. Exposure is not remote, but you must be awake to witness it. If you turn away now, you will miss the spectacle of your vindication, and that vindication is approaching swiftly. Do not imagine that, clear's throat, your tears have gone unobserved. Every evening you wept, every moment you sensed the burden of their perfidy, every whisper you overheard behind your back, heaven took account of them. The tears you shed in secrecy constitute the evidence God presents in His divine court. He states, I saw, I heard, I will recompense. He does not neglect His offspring. He does not forsake His cherished ones. And you are His cherished one. The identity of the accuser carries weight, and when it is revealed it will be disclosed loudly. People will be astonished. Some will exclaim, how could it be them? But you will not be shocked. You had already sensed it. Your spirit already comprehended. And when it transpires, you will not only be absolved, you will be uplifted. Because this is how God operates. He transforms what the adversary intended for harm and converts it for good. But dear one, remain protected. Do not merely listen once and then drift away. You require the celestial flow daily, not merely sporadically. Subscribe. Anchor yourself here. Every utterance provides defense. Every communication serves as a shield. Every disclosure acts as a sword. The adversary plots ceaselessly. Thus, you must also remain perpetually beneath God's covering. Before we get to the end of this powerful story, let's take a moment to reflect on this deep truth. You did not find this message by accident. This is not a stroke of luck. It is a direct message from Archangel Michael to you. He's extending his hand and inviting you into a protected high vibrational community where divine abundance is not just a hope but a promise. This sacred principle is very simple, but it can change your whole life if you follow it. You won't just receive blessings, they will be multiplied and flow into every part of your life by accepting this invitation right now. You are unlocking immediate early access to powerful content and divine insights that are hidden from the general world. Now is your chance to enter a sacred space where you will receive spiritual guidance, unwavering support, and speedy progress toward your destiny. Do not let this sacred moment of destiny pass you by. Your breakthrough is waiting. Join Archangel Michael's inner circle immediately through the exclusive link in the description. This is how you guarantee you never miss the direct personalized messages that are specifically meant to elevate and empower your life. If you desire to deepen your connection, the link is waiting for you in both the pinned comment and the description. And for those who feel called to amplify this work, a link to purchase the guided ebook is available, which is completely optional. But your presence, attention, and energy already mean the world. Take the step. Your abundance awaits.